this way. Oh, do you want to have a look in here? Have a look in here. This is my... This is a big day. So Mole saw this...
Cannoli?
These cannoli.
Mute me out of that. I've definitely done it wrong.
And Mole said they look really good and we should try them, and I completely agreed. So I've gone for lemon curd. I was hoping, how did you get into this?
Oh, I just bit it.
Oh, that's so nice, yeah.
I think do a big bite with the curd.
Mole's my director today. That was the right vibe. Pretty in here. Stunning.
Wide angle there, so I feel like they're taking up so much compliance rate.
I've accidentally done the darkest slip I've worn in a while, but I'm not mad about it. I got last minute tickets to Erica de Cassier, so I'm going there now. Meeting Hannah and Ed for a drink before. Well, we're actually going to Dom Subs, but it's like a booze event, so I will not be drinking anything, but I'm there in spirit. Erica de Cassier is my #1 artist this year. I'm 100%, and this is her only UK show this side of the year. Firstly, sorry for how grey it is in here. There is no light outside today. I have been having a period where I'm struggling with my anxiety. I think when you're someone that's wired a bit anxious, you just kind of have phases where you have less anxiety and phases where you have more, as opposed to it completely vanishing and then randomly reappearing. It's kind of just an ebb and flow that I live with. And I think after all the dad stuff, which was like the highest anxiety experience of my life, I felt like once I came off the end of his operation, everything kind of leveled a little bit. But I think there's just been a few factors recently that have upped my baseline level. On the more serious end of that is we found out 2 weeks ago that my dad might lose the physio care team from the care home he's in. The company who runs the kind of care home my dad's in is planning on pulling all of their OT and physio teams across the country. So I spent my Tuesday writing to the MDs of that company and to my dad's MP to try and stop it from happening. The physio is just integral to my dad's well-being. It has helped him reduce his pain medication and improved his quality of life so much. And even just for wheelchair referrals, because my dad's needs are always changing, all of those come through the physio team. So I think that's quite a large unknown that's weighing on me. I take the attitude that regardless of what happens, we will figure it out. But nonetheless, my body doesn't know that. And then on a lighter note, I am doing what Jack has affectionately termed No Walk November. So I'm driving every day in November to try and kick my fear. As you might know, I'm a nervous driver. I find being in a car the equivalent of being on a roller coaster. I'm going 20 miles an hour. In my head, it's 180. But that's not a sustainable way to approach driving. So I'm trying to kick it. Which, by the way, would totally not be happening if I did not have Jack as an accountability partner. Honestly, I've wanted to bail on it so many days. But it does mean I wake up every morning and know that at some point in the day I'm going to have to drive, and it gives me just the sickness in my stomach. But I've got to remember I'm doing it so that by the end of the month I won't have the sickness in my stomach. And actually, I am making progress. It's nowhere near as bad as it was at the beginning. And I'm becoming a much more confident driver for it. Even if it's just going just round the corner, going to the shop to get some food. Eventually, I'm hoping I'll be able to drive down to my dad's on my own, which is a journey I haven't made yet. I've driven it twice with Jack in the car, but I'm quite a panicker, so I like to have a second set of eyes when I'm on the motorway. And I find switching gears quite overwhelming still. I can't wait to get an automatic. I'm very natural now between 1 and 3, but once I'm going up to 4, 5 and 6, for some reason I'm just on edge the whole time. And the idea of having to slow down for traffic on the motorway gives me the biggest heebie-jeebies ever. Like, what do you mean I've got to go from 6 to 1? How is that happening? If you're not a driver, this is all irrational fear. This is all stuff that people do every single day and are absolutely fine with. I am the problem. Do not let this put you off learning to drive. I've learned that when my anxiety cranks up a notch, I then have to manage it. As you know, if you've been watching this channel for a while, I use Headspace. I have been a loyal customer for over 7 years now, probably 8 years. There are courses which can teach you how to meditate if you're a beginner, but then there's also just courses for managing different experiences in your life. There's ones about, in fact, let me crack open the app so I can read some to you. I did a course on prioritization. There's one on befriending our bodies. There's recharges. Approaching birth is a great one. There's quick meditations. There's a whole page on calming everyday anxiety. According to Headspace's research, 5 minutes of Headspace a day decreases stress. I'm a huge fan of the sleep casts as well. I often listen to them when I'm trying to sleep on my own, especially if I'm on public transport, if I'm on a plane. I'll do the wind down in the sleep cast and then listen to the story afterwards. Meditation's a really important part of managing my anxiety, and if you also struggle with anxiety, I couldn't recommend it enough. Headspace actually has an offer on at the moment where you can get 50% off their annual plan for Black Friday. I think it's a steal. I will leave a link below where you can redeem the offer. Thank you, Headspace, for working with me. It is always an honour. There's also just some money stuff going on at the moment, which one day I will tell you all about, but that is not that day. There are some unforeseen costs that have come up that are a lot of money that the average person, me included, does not have. So I'm trying to figure that one out too. Ultimately, with all of this stuff, I keep reminding myself that me a year ago would pay good money to have the problems that I have now. Ultimately, things are fundamentally so much better than they were. And that with a bit of support, I can just manage the anxiety as it comes. I made a whole video actually about how to manage anxiety last summer. So I'll link that below. But it's like a book of everything I've ever found that has worked. This is something I'll be managing my whole life. So I better get used to it. And then working with it is probably my best bet. And on that note, I'm going to start work. I've got 3 edits to finish today. Luckily, one video is pretty much done. And then there's one that's really simple. It's just like a jump cut edit. Fun and games. If you are a 90s baby, and I mean baby in the 90s, you will know what I'm about to talk about. I don't know if you ever have this, but sometimes I wake up with music in my head that I've not heard for many, many years. What's happened to my little hairs? And today I woke up with something so random. Do you remember S Club? If you don't know, get to know. They were a huge band, to the point where they had a spin-off band that were teenagers called S Club 8. S Club were originally called S Club 7, but then Paul left. This was the height of band building in the early 2000s and late 90s. We're talking Simon Fuller, if you know who that is. He put them together. He's one of the creators of American Idol, and they were designed for tiny children. I would have been, what, like 4 when they came around, maybe 3. Anyway, me and my best friend Isla got really into them. We bought all of their CDs. We bought their Sunny Delight collab. Anyway, I woke up with a song called Whole Lot of Nothing in my head. Just Googled it. Turns out it was on their album Seeing Double from 2002. And you know what? The production is dated, but the songs slap. Who wrote these? I wonder if the credits are even on Spotify. It is entirely Swedes. And I'm not mad about it because this album is full of classics. I seem to remember there was a film that went along with it as well. They were my Disney Channel. Can I just say, middle of the day right now, it is 12:53. It looks like darkness because it is raining so hard. I don't know how I live in this country. I can't remember what I was saying, but just know that this is what my day looks like right now. S Club will be the soundtrack to my day. Get ready with me for the TikTok Awards. Lucy, why are you going to the TikTok Awards? You're not a TikToker. Your guess is as good as mine. In the process of sitting down here, I've realised I actually can't sit in this dress. My whole cheeks are out. Consider this some thoughts on getting ready for Christmas do's, or in general, events where you have to look cute. I had literally 0 experience of getting dressed up before I became a creator. This is not something my family ever did or ever saw them do. So the main way I've learned how to get ready is by watching other creators who do it much better than me. And sometimes this still happens, by the way. I show up to events, every woman looks incredible, like they were born to get ready for stuff. Like they had a whole glam team involved. Perfect outfits, perfect hair. And so often I'm just like, how do you do it? But I've kind of learned from other people some of the secrets. So if you're like me, where you just don't even know where to begin, let me tell you a bit about how I have learned to get ready for events. Yeah, I was just like, where's everyone learning all this from? To start with, I am now practicing to be a non-panicker before these events. I try and sort my outfit the week of or before. I do not leave it to the day before anymore. We've been there, done that. I have been known to panic shop on Oxford Street the day of. It was really not good for my brain. Really what helps with this stuff is buying beforehand. Nowadays, if I see a shoe that I think, oh, that would look so good for like an evening event or a wedding, I'll just buy it then and there. Obviously, I'll try it on if I can. With accessories, I would say shoes and bags specifically, I do not wait for the event to pick them up. I will always kind of collect them as I go, even if I don't have an event planned. I have a couple of dresses on standby, things that I've worn to weddings in the past or other events. Things I tend to buy are versatile and I either really love them or they are something I could wear on my period. I can't tell you how many times a big day has come around and I am suddenly thinking, oh my God, I'm on day 2. I cannot fathom wearing what I plan to wear. Beyond that, I borrow and rent dresses. Raid your friends' wardrobes, especially if they're local. I'm always lending the dresses that I have out to friends, especially for like work events where it's like, oh, we've got an awards show. Like, what do you fucking wear to an awards show? I don't own any gowns. That's one thing that I would always have to rent or borrow because who owns a gown? I will use services like By Rotation, Her. I have yet to borrow from brands, but I know that's something that creators do. So even if you're a small creator, if there's a brand you particularly want to wear, do reach out to them because you never know, they might say yes, especially if they know it's going to be a heavily photographed event. And that actually applies to like lots of different careers, not just creators. If you are winning like a notable award, don't be embarrassed to reach out to a PR. And the way that that works, I've just realized I really didn't explain that very well. Most brands work with a PR firm, which is an agency that they employ, probably pay on a retainer to manage their inbound and outbound press and this kind of thing. Borrowing dresses probably counts as press coverage for them. So they're probably the people to reach out to then reach out to the brand to see if there's something you could borrow from their showroom. But as I said, I've never done that because I am a disorganized woman. Okay, I'm going to go off camera quickly and finish my hair because it's not doing what I want it to. Before I do, I wanted to quickly say that sleek hair or hair that looks done generally makes a really big impression and really helps like tie your outfit together. If you're someone who's like, oh my gosh, I always have frizz, I'm never able to get my hair looking sleek, like I can't even imagine, I'm just a frizzy girl, buy the Colour Wow spray. I think it's called Dream Coat. It is like a magic product. This hot brush is great. I love the GHD Rise, but I really want to try like the Dyson products as well. I also use straighteners, but for like a bouncy blowout, which I will eventually get to, hopefully, or something that looks a bit similar, hot brush is a really good way forward. And just in general, it just makes you look more done and put together. Hi girlies, we're back. As you can see, straighter and smoother. It isn't how I love to wear my hair, but when I look back at photos, it always looks better. So I've learned that's something for me. Also, before I put it down, hydrate during the day. I have not done this enough. It just makes makeup application better. And then I just put on some of the Rhode glazing milk as well. Hydration, blah, blah, blah. I care ultimately very little about stuff like this, but you need to take advantage of photo ops when they arise. Another mistake I always make is not putting on enough makeup. So I'm going to try and go quite heavy today. I went to the TikTok Awards last year and it's quite fun because it's not super serious. People aren't in like gowns or like premiere outfits. Everyone's in quite fun outfits. They're like a step up from a party outfit. Every time I look back at photos of myself at these events and I think, why do I look so bad? I have been told it's because I'm just not wearing enough makeup. There's not enough contrast as well between my blush, my bronzer, my face. Also, big one, I'm wearing contacts. You honestly just take your glasses off for the photos. It's fine. If that's your thing. If you like your glasses, leave your glasses on by all means. For me personally, I think glasses look a little weird with the kind of outfit like this that I'm wearing today. So the contacts is a good move. I also always bring sunglasses. If I'm not feeling confident, especially I see some of the photos and I'm just like, oh, these are not good. Sunglasses on, you always look better. This is the Glowy Super Skin Foundation in shade 7. I think this with their concealer works really well. They have like a drier concealer. I also take it down onto my neck a little bit, but I won't go very far this time because obviously this is high neck and black. I really don't want to stain it. You officially are meant to take off your SPF when you're going to have flash photography done. I have not done that today, so we'll see how it turns out. Apparently it just gives you like a big white face, like a moon. Okay, so we're gonna go heavy on the blush and bronzer today. If it looks bad, it looks bad. We move. I literally apply everything to the back of my hand. I've told you this a million times, just so that I don't end up over applying. I will also relentlessly powder my face because nothing looks worse than a massive shiny forehead in my opinion. Each to their own, of course. Also, makeup is just personal taste at the end of the day. I am not trying to yuck your yum. This is just stuff that I have realised for me is what works. Oh, Man down. I actually love the way this blush looks right now. I really don't want to add more. Also, your makeup always looks worse when you're applying it in daylight or when you're just doing it in front of a random mirror. When you have a proper light in front of you, that's why all the creators' makeup looks amazing when they're applying it in Get Ready With Me's. They've all got these TikTok lights or whatever in front of them. Wow, that just feels like way too much makeup, but I love adding a bit on the end of my nose to kind of tie it together. I bought a new Refi brow sculpt. It's just so good of a product. Anyone who doesn't rate this is crazy. I would also be drawing in my brows if I had more time, but I just don't. I'd just be filling them in lightly. Because again, imagine a bright white flash in your face. It's gonna wash everything out, including the things that shape and define your face, like your brows. It's also worth saying a lot of the girls have had stuff done, like having their brows laminated, false lashes, lash extensions, stuff like that. I am au naturel, and there's nothing wrong with doing any of those things either. They're very good if you're someone who just wants to get up in the morning and get going. What do they say? High maintenance to be low maintenance. The awards last year was so weird. They had literally 1 hour of awards. It was like a speed run. It felt like watching TikTok. It was so quick. I always find it strange that I also don't really know anyone nominated. I maybe know 1 or 2 people. When I started being a creator, community was such a big part of all of this. And it was obviously so much smaller, so you kind of knew of everyone. You obviously wouldn't know everyone. No one was that guy unless you worked in the industry. But you would definitely have an idea of a lot of people. You'd have heard of a lot of people. You'd probably be friends with a couple. Last year, I think I only knew 1 person who was nominated, and that was Maddie, and she won Creator of the Year. And there were also a lot of people on there that I thought I didn't know. And then when mini clip of one of their videos would pop up during the bit that announces the nominations, I'd be like, oh yeah, I recognize that person. Something else that's really important is eye definition. Your eyes need to stand out. I don't have loads of time to do that and make that happen. So we're gonna go very easy. Does that peel off? If that peels off, I'm gonna be so happy. Yay, it's a mirror. I love a palette, but I hadn't really found one that was very me. And then I picked up this Makeup by Mario one. Oh my God, my sleeves are all rolled up. I look so funny. I look like a vampire. Can you see how nice the colours are in this? It's like a mix of matte and glitter shades. And you can really see how they pair together and like what makes sense. I'm gonna do just a base of this kind of toffee colour. I go for this a lot. Makes the whole eyelid the same shade, which for me is good. I've got really veiny thin eyelids. And then I'm just going to use this is really funny because this is sounding like a tutorial. I don't know what I'm doing at all. Again, this is just stuff that I think will be quick and easy and will make me look ever so slightly better, I hope. Definitely no makeup guru. I also have like no eyelid space. My eyes are so in my face. I think some people might call this double lidded, but I just think they're deep set. When I bought this palette, I also bought a much finer eyeshadow brush. So I'm gonna take like the darker color here and just give my eyes a tiny bit more definition along the outer lash line, only the outer half of the lash line, and just a tiny bit under. I also don't love getting my makeup done because I feel like people don't know how to work with my face very well. I have quite a unique face shape. I think I just need stuff that's more subtle and suited to my skin tone. Because I'm wearing so much silver, I'm just gonna take this silver shade down here and pat some of it onto the eyelid. These particular shadows are amazing. They're kind of like if you ever used Space Cowboy from Urban Decay. They're a glitter, but they're almost like an iridescent glitter. I actually really like Makeup by Mario products. Okay, there we go. What do you think? Yeah, cool. That'll do. And then mascara. Again, because of the shape of my eyes, I always focus my mascara to the outer corners. In terms of touch-ups, I usually bring a powder and a concealer and then my lip product. I just trust and hope that everything else stays in place. Oh, I also have a Flawless Finish spray as well, which I'll add, especially as it's raining. This Westman Atelier mascara has answered all my prayers. I don't know if I've mentioned it on here yet, but this mascara is exceptional. My friend Danielle actually recommended it. She uses the brown shade and she'd been given this sample of a black that she didn't want to use because, you know, it's not her shade. So she gave it to me and she did tell me it was good, but people tell me mascaras are good all the time and they just don't work on me. So I was so pleased when it worked well. I might wear Ember by Glossier on my lips, like a dark red. Another thing I will always do is get a cab to the event because there is nothing worse than showing up and you've got a public transport and your feet already hurt. If you're wearing heels, do not arrive with feet that already hurt. Especially for stuff like this, you're going to be standing up and talking to people the whole night. I'll just go and grab a lip. Okay, here we are. I'm very unsure about these earrings. I'm going to bring an alternative. But yeah, you can see I am semi put together now. I look a bit done. I'm just putting on my little heels and I'm going to book an Uber. Also, I got my nails done earlier last minute. I decided to just get kind of a neutral silver to match this. I rented this bag as well this time around. This is from Shrimps. Lipstick is Glossier Ember. Renting dresses, I don't always end up getting what I want. This is a good dress, but I picked it because I really did think it would fit, and boy does it. If I were a sample size, I would be much more adventurous. You've got to work with what you've got, and I'm very lucky to have found something that fit. Before I forget, dresses from Meshki. These shoes are Under the Stories. The tights are Swedish stockings. They're a limited edition. This bag is from Shrimps. Yeah, okay, right, I better order that cab and get going, or they're not gonna let me in.
Wow,
We
so
want
chic.
to formally apologise for the audio. Until now, it's really good.
And we're rooting for Jack Edwards to win learning and education. He's the best reader on TikTok. Reading award of the year. Thanks. Woo, can't wait. I remember the friend I made on YouTube in like 2011. That's too early. Maybe 2010.
We are old. I'm not. I'm young.
Why not put you on camera? Anyway, I got about I'm salty.
It's 7:30. I'm getting coffee with Alice. I'm rarely up at 7, but it's so nice, so pretty. Where it's kind of quiet. I'm at Somerset House. They're opening their skating rink, so they're having a party, and I'm here. I have found actually a really delicious, it's like a hot toddy kind of cocktail, which is the Twining sleep tea. I think it's called the sleep tea, and then like an oat milk. Anyway, yeah, I wasn't going to vlog today, but I might go to Eric's party after this. And my friend Balbe is playing, so I'd really like to see her. So I consider this like the beginning of the night. I've been with my dad all day.
That is lovely. Thank you so much.
Just for a few days, just to see, okay, if this were my last day, it may well change not only your short-term prioritization, but also your long-term prioritization.
I think I've said this phrase a million times recently, I don't know why, but like nervous system regulation is something that I'm becoming more aware of about myself, because I'm realizing I spend so much time in fight or flight. And just now I was having a scroll, I could feel myself getting more tense as I was scrolling, and the slot machine effect was really happening. And suddenly I thought, I need to do my meditation today, and it helped. I just wanted to give you a little update on how the music's going. In the moments that I've had to work on music, I have been focusing on increasing my production skills and just learning new things, which has meant a lot of experimentation and not much to show for it, honestly. Lots of beats that are kind of okay, nothing that really excites me. That's like maybe slightly straighter. As I was saying, there's been nothing that good coming out because I am really focused on trying to create ambient textures. I'm trying to learn how to create more cinematic sounds. I'm trying to learn to add more texture and more noise to my songs as well. I really want to get better at making pads, and I'm just craving a lot of analog sound at the moment, which is obviously hard to create because I am doing everything digitally. I use a lot of samples, but sometimes I get in my head about that. Am I really even a musician if I am just relying on pre-recorded sounds that were made by other people? So yeah, it's been interesting. But today I made a bit of time, in fact yesterday and today because it's the weekend. I had a feeling, and I was right, that yesterday was going to be just me getting back in the swing of things. Nothing like written would really come out of it. Sometimes I'm wrong, but usually it takes me a day to get back into the swing if I'm out of the habit of writing, which I currently am. For me, I do best when I try and write every single week, and I've actually now allocated Fridays to be like my writing day, but unfortunately I've had work come up on a lot of those Fridays recently. Anyway, today I managed to get out 2 verses and a chorus. I'm going to mute the vocal when I show you because it is nasty sounding right now, but hopefully this is the start of something nice. I think it sounds a bit like a Sampha or Solange beat. I think there's a dodgy note in the bass, but sometimes I can't really tell if my bass sounds good. Fun fact, me and Dodes have the same piano. I bought it when I was 19 because I saw she had it. Studio 168 is my Substack where I share my demos and my writing and everything kind of to do with music. It's kind of the hub where all my music is and my music thoughts. So if you would like to join me on my journey, or if you're on your own, I will leave a link below. Tomorrow is super exciting because we're going to see Lord. I can't wait.
But hardly are.